In this tutorial, what I want to show is basically how to take this template that we were sent earlier in the year and to turn it into something a little bit more personalized that looks more or less like this. So this is my schedule based on that template. First thing that you'll notice about the template, I changed a little bit about the formatting. I added a couple spaces for meetings and other if you want to enter if you have meetings with certain people or kind of other things that you want to get on your schedule. The other thing that I changed was I took the community period and chopped it into 3 parts because a lot of times, you'll have a lunch and then you work the other part, but our duties as teachers are generally chopped into thirds during the community period. So what we want to do is create something that's a little bit more personalized for you, so that it doesn't say, period 1, 2, 3, community period, all that stuff, but it says, honors algebra 2 or geostats with vectors or whatever course you have with the room number and things like that. So that's what the focus is of this. It's actually a pretty easy fix. All of the documents that you're going to need in order to do this are attached at the bottom of this email. So feel free to open those up. The only disclaimer is the documents are the original ones that were sent out, so there might be some changes to your own individual schedule. Hopefully you know exactly what those changes are. So let's take a look at how to do this. We're going to go back to this template. So on this template, what you'll see is basically the breakdown of the rotation. Things like mass and rallies and things are included in there. So what we want to do is, we don't want it to say period 1. We want it to say exactly what we have going on period 1 or during period 1. And in order to do that, you're going to need the document that was sent out earlier in the year, semester 1 master. So Mr. Allen's is the first thing that pops up here, so I'll just use his as an example. During period 1, Mr. Allen doesn't have a class. This says A, it should say period 1, but he doesn't have a class during period 1. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into, we're going to use the Finder. So you're going to press Control F while you're in Excel. In this Finder function here is an option to replace. So you want to click on the Replace tab and then go to Options. So what we're going to do here is we're going to say, hey, I want to find everywhere where it says period 1. So if you want to make it simple, you can just copy the cell and paste it. That'll keep you from making typing errors. So I want to find where it says period 1. The other thing you need to do is you need to match the case and match, actually, more importantly, match entire cell contents. So you want to click on at least this box. I usually click both of them just to keep it safe. And what we want to replace it with is, we're going to find that on the document. So again, Mr. Allen, nothing during period 1. So we're going to replace that with free, just so he knows on his personal schedule he's free. And I usually like to include what the period is as well. So he's free during period 1. We're going to go down to Replace All. So click on Replace All, and you can see every single time it said period 1 throughout the schedule. Every time period 1 has come up, it's replaced it with free. We're going to go through and do that for the rest of the period, so I'll show you period 2 as well. But it's really a similar process for each one of these. So Mr. Allen here has, during period 2, he's got IB Language and Lit SL Year 2. You can label this however you want. IB Language and Lit SL Year 2. So wherever we see a period 2, we want IB Language and Lit SL. And then what I generally do is I'm going to put the room number. So his room number here was 125. And that's for my own reference, and I still include the period just so I know exactly when that is in the rotation. If you want, the other cool thing that you can do, or I guess useful thing that you can do, is you can change the color so that everything's color coded, and it's a little bit easier to kind of just look and see when that class is coming up. You're going to click Format. So Format. And under Format, you're going to be able to change the color Under Format, go to Fill, and you can fill that with whatever color you want to identify that course with. And that way you can just look at the schedule, see it's color coded every time I see, orange, for instance. I know that that's IB, language and lit. Go to Replace All, and that replaces that every time you have IB, language and lit throughout the first quarter. So you can go ahead and do that for the rest of your classes. It's the same exact process. The only other thing really that you need to break down is the community period. That's under a separate document that was sent at the same time that this one was by Dr. Olin. Again, it's linked to this email. But let's look at Mr. Allen's community periods. So during community period A, and it's 11:55 to 12:45, so that would be like the second and third chunks of community period. He actually has the first 25 minutes for lunch. So we're going to go in here, and everywhere we see community A2 and community A3, we're going to replace that with his department meeting. So again, we're going to say community A2, replace that with department meeting. And if you have a room number where you're meeting, you can include that. This is A2, and if you want to color code that with a different color, maybe green is your department meeting, that's fine. You can do that through the Format tab. So that replaces there, and he's going to want to do it for A3 as well because that's a 2-block chunk. So just change community A3 every time it sees that. You want it to say department meeting as well, probably the same color, and replace all. So again, the ultimate goal is that you can have something that looks like this. This is my schedule. I've color coded. I know every time I see dark green on here, it's my second period Honors Algebra 2 class. Every time I see red, it's some sort of duty or advisory or something that I'm responsible for that's not necessarily a class, and so on. But it's a little bit more personalized, and it's a pretty quick way to personalize this template for you.